certainly is. Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, whatever he is.
Also, we do have one member of the public participating.
good.
So
Exciting. All right, we on video now?
I don't see them.
I show the broadcasting on the COC page.
Okay, yeah, we're ready to go.
We're all set. Very good. Meeting house called to order at 5 p.m. Heidi, could you do the roll call, please?
Chair Kevin Dayton.
Here.
Ben Beasley. Kurt Overmeyer.
Here.
David Ortiz.
Here.
Karina Mata. You have a quorum.
Very good. We'll move to public comments. This is for items that are not on the agenda of general interest. You have 3 minutes to make your comment. Are there any comments from the public in the room? Looks like we don't have anyone here. Any public comments on virtual?
Someone's entering again right now.
That's my note taker.
Oh, that shouldn't. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, there's no.
No public comments. Very good. We'll move on. Reviewing the document minutes of the September 17th, 2025 meeting. I'll take a motion on the second for approval of those. You can look at them if you want.
All moved. Second.
All right. A motion and a second. Oh, usually have roll call, right? You could do voice vote. Oh, let's do roll call.
Chair Kevin Dayton.
Aye.
Ben Beasley. Kurt Overmeyer.
Aye.
David Ortiz.
Aye.
Karina Mata. Motion passes.
All right, moving on to item D, review financials for Measure I and project updates. Maybe Heidi, you could talk about the appearance of Measure A and why we're not going to discuss that today because it's not on the agenda.
Correct. So the attachment for items D and E actually covers quarter one measure A or I and A. Because I did not agendize the A part of it on the agenda, we will not be reviewing that. We'll bring it back to the next meeting and include that in there. And it is limited activity. It's just 2 items, but.
Right. Well, thank you for putting it in, and yeah, we gotta adjust the template to include Measure A now. Now that expenditure, we're starting on that.
Give me just 1 second. I'll bring up the report so we can. And review it as a committee.
Ryan, before we look over the warrants for this, do you have any comments about what we're seeing here? Actually, we're in the financials right now. Any questions about the financials?
One moment.
We all set? Any questions for Ryan about the financials? Any public comments? We don't have anyone here for public comment. Let's move on to warrant activity. Ryan, do you have any comments before we take a look at the warrants? We'll spend about 5 minutes looking at those.
No comments, just again, I mean, this is same format that you've been reviewing for the past. The color's a little bit different, but overall it's the same format as previous.
All right, I think the best thing for us to do here is just look at it page by page. And if you have a question about one of the items, yell it out for Ryan and he'll answer them.
The one comment I'll make while you all were reviewing that just came to mind is we are winding down the expenses of the Measure I, so these will become smaller in nature. And we'll be moving to the next bond measure. And so your next the next quarterly report will probably be much smaller. The activity will be much smaller than this.
Do you have any outstanding authorization for bond sales on Measure I, or are we done with it?
Measure I has been all been issued.
It's all done,
Yeah.
okay.
Just out of curiosity, I see a lot of the geotech engineering consultants are have a equal debit and credit,
What page are you on?
page 23.
Thank you.
I'm assuming that's because they got transferred to another funding source.
That would have, yes, that's correct. Looking at these. You're looking at from Marina High School field.
Well, Marina High School field, and the Snack Shack and Monterey High School field all are zeroed out on geotech.
Yes.
Brian, these are accruals. They were accrued for prior year expenses. So when they're accrued, the
Oh,
expenses showed in prior year,
Understood.
credits in the following year.
Okay.
When, that's where you see the credit in the,
So it's the accrual and the actual.
and then, and it's the reversal of the accrual, which is.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
I have a comment about page 14, which you probably already know. The heading of that says, Measure I project activity, but you do have the, Measure A, workforce housing under district office there, which is, and then there's a column for A. And so just
Yeah.
for the next time, we'll
No,
make sure
we'll change
to have, if there's just either have the tables separate for Measure I and Measure A, or have at the top the header saying Measure I and Measure A project activity, so it's consistent.
We'll change the title for that.
But I think since we're just getting into the Measure A, we'll have everything will get worked out.
So on, well, 34 of those same debits and credits are accruals. Okay.
Question on page 38. Education housing partners.
Mhm.
What is that expenditure for?
So Education Housing Partners is a consultant that helped us with the procurement of the staff housing. But this cost, as you'll see, will be shifted from measure.
Yes. Yeah, let's make sure that's
Yes,
the A next time. because
yes, you'll see that.
That would be, you gotta get it into the A.
Yep, it will be switched over. So when you look at the next report, you'll see that those costs will be shifted.
That's the kind of stuff that's gonna slip by the school board, so that's where we come in.
Yeah, yeah, good catch.
It's in the gas and electric on page 53. Was that a hookup?
New switching equipment installed at the campus, so that was fees paid to PG.
Okay, so it wasn't a new hookup, it was just equipment. Okay. And I was gonna ask you how long it took to get the hookup.
It took quite a while. On that particular one, we started planning, at least a year out for anytime we're doing something like that with PG&E. I don't know the exact time frame on that, but that particular project we were planning for over a year. So once we know we're gonna need PG&E, we'll get the applications in.
Was this for an electrical switching?
Yes,
So want to point out that I know a lot of the economic development of various utilities around California. The Sacramento Municipal Utilities District would take 3.5 weeks after you provided the plans to get your engineering completely done and signed off on. And they would have whatever transformer you needed sitting in a yard somewhere. And ready to be installed.
Well, that's
that would be nice.
Somebody would say, yeah, you gotta make your utility public.
And charge 41% less across the board than PG&E does for electricity,
That would
even though they have the exact same sources.
Yeah, and knowing the constraints that we have, PG&E is always something that anytime we know right away we're gonna have to do it. A lot of our campuses, the capacity, we need to upgrade capacity as we expand electrical things, or just replace the switching gear. So that definitely comes into consideration for the process.
Just a pro tip, if you don't already, find Rob Morse's cell phone number and keep him on speed dial.
We definitely know who he is. Yeah.
Okay.
And also Jasmine Venegas, who is the local PG&E government affairs person too, who is another person to call who could speed things up because she's always watching. She's very involved with the Monterey Peninsula Chamber of Commerce and Salinas Valley Chamber of Commerce. So whenever I've got a big folder, unfortunately, full of PG&E hookup delays. It's all over in California.
Yes.
Every economic development project I ever worked on the Central Coast, the delay was always PG&E, and they still haven't put a permanent meter on the Rochelle and Watsonville, even though it's been over 12 years.
Wow.
So yes, you have allies who can help you
Okay.
at the district if there's any trouble.
Definitely keep that in mind when we need to.
Thank you. I have looked over this, other than those questions, I don't have any. Kurt, you're done. You're still looking on a few.
Seaside Children's Center, and this is page 55, modernization, tourist wait. But the other ones, it was kind of clear that it seemed like paints and things of that sort.
That's normally what it is. Anytime we have, there's construction work on the campus, that we'll have, if it's paint, flooring, anything that may have been deemed, hazardous, containing any kind of material based on the consultant or the special testing services, when they go out and do it, there'll be a hazardous material fee associated with all of any of that. So it could be various different things. Campuses of that age, there's quite a bit. It could be old piping from plumbing, those sorts of things.
Or 10 grand is probably a their district permit sign off.
Yeah, that more than like for the Seaside Children's Center, I'd have to look exactly what that was. I have to go back to look at the vendor for that one and see. That was S-Tech.
It was probably a phase 2 for.
Yeah, that we did some playground infrastructure up there. So it may have been some haul off of some materials and dirt and things like that.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Is there any public comment about item E? Do you have anybody in the public here? Moving on to F, future meeting dates for 2026. Does anybody looking at those dates notice any potential conflicts with any holidays or other activities that we should accommodate?
No holidays, but I may not be able to be here on March 4th.
As we get closer, I'll circulate an email like I normally do, or, in advance.
So appreciate it. I'll let you know if it'll be the kids lacrosse tournament that week, so I may be in New Jersey.
Definitely don't want to miss that, sure.
You probably called them.
Can't remember if in our bylaws, if we allow virtual participation for voting purposes in quorum. Do you?
There are parameters set for that. I have to see if they've changed because they've changed a lot in the last year. I think it's for emergency basis. For you.
You can't participate remotely with cause. We'll send out the information, and then you can let us know if it matches for you. And then we
Great.
can make it work.
Thank you.
Moving on to committee member comments. Actually, I have one related to the bylaws, which I didn't read. I am completing my 6th year as chair of this committee, and I'm always encouraging others to take the opportunity to take a leadership here if they would like to do so. Otherwise, it looks like I control this committee with an iron fist. So if anybody wants to consider chair next year, keep it in mind.
What are the election date, like when do we normally hold?
Well, if I remember, the last time we had a formal election was probably January 2020. But we don't, nobody ever comes forward with nominations, so it's just sort of continued as is.
Yeah, the roles for there isn't a defined process like there is for a school board as far as the particular positions on this. So if there's anybody ever interested, we can do that. We could actually bring back, if there's an interest in shifting that, we could bring it back at the next meeting, maybe not in March. If you're not going to be here for that, if you want to participate, maybe we can look at June for doing that. And the board did appoint all of you to measure A. So as we get into that measure A, and that kind of starts your term over. Since it's a new bond, it starts the term for the bylaws over.
Now, another issue comes up is I think I'm turned out, and we had talked before, and maybe Ryan, about having the bylaws changed by the board. Another thing is, I see we still have 2 vacancies. I'm assuming the applications are pouring in for those vacancies. Depending on how it's written, I guess, if you want to keep me on the oversight committee, you can switch me from taxpayers representative to community at large.
So I won't get into it because it's not agendized, but I can send out some information to all of you.
Okay.
And then if we would like to, we could agendize that at a future meeting, so we can have a conversation about the bylaws, but In the meantime, I'll send out some information to you regarding.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think this is something probably that staff should check to make sure that it's in compliance with what the board has approved. On those administrative items.
All right, noted.
And maybe for the next meeting, we can have the bylaws actually inserted into the folder so that we can find her, so we can take a look at it.
I can do
I
that.
have them somewhere in here. I think I was giving them to me when it came on in 2018. But
Yeah, we can include those in your packet.
great. I will mention also, I was involved in the email exchange with people claiming that the district was spending its bond money improperly. I pointed out to them that it was not, and I've been chairing the committee for 6 years and on it for 8. And anybody who has a question can contact me and I will go through the paperwork. And that took care of it right there. But I know that some people are gonna spread this sort of stuff around, and if I'm not there to rebut it, they're going to, or you're not there, they're gonna push this around. So just be aware. Do you have any other comments from other committee members?
I believe this is either my third or fourth meeting. I'm starting to grow a little bit more comfortable into what the role is. I do understand that we have the ability to partake in like site visits on certain issues. It is my intention next year to exercise that right and see some of the things that are going on the ground.
I don't think we've had a tour since maybe 2021. I remember we were in masks and on buses with the windows open. I'm not sure that school was actually in session at that time. So yeah, we are overdue for site visits.
You can coordinate those with me and Heidi. We can't have everybody participate at the same time because we can't, that'd be a Brown Act violation to have all the committee members participate in an event together. But we can break it up. So we don't want to have a quorum of individuals. So if we need to break it up into 2 different visits, we can.
We could also make it a public meeting and agendize it as well.
We could, that just limits our ability to move around, but
Yeah.
Do you want the public to see some of the sites?
if it's an active construction site, we typically don't like to have public on an active construction site. If it's completed project, then yes, we would just coordinate that with the school sites and happy to have the public come and take a look when it's safe to do so outside of school hours, uninterrupting class and those sorts of things.
Maybe something to check with the superintendent or even the board to say, you want to do any outreach with the construction projects and maybe some of the step tips can show up and see the good things that are going on.
Yeah, absolutely. But if any of you would like to schedule this, we can just reach out to Heidi, we can get that coordinated.
You're going to be doing a tour of the workforce housing.
We've done several, but once again, if you're all are interested in that, we absolutely can set that up for sure.
Any other questions? All right, we are adjourned.
All right.
Kevin, if you